Ready? Fight! Winner! Hey, it's Tony here. Welcome to Better Architects. As you can already tell from the intro, this video is geared to help you become a better architect by improving your Revit skills. While this isn't really a Revit channel, from time to time I will try to focus on some of the foundations on essential softwares that I think is super, and I mean super important to your growth and development as an architect. Most of you may not know this. It's probably because it's only my second video. I spent a good few years of my career as a Revit specialist, as well as a BIM manager. So for those reasons, I'm kind of biased towards this specific program, which is Revit, as you can tell by now, as the main bread and butter software for, any architectural firm. So without further ado, let's get to the foundations. Point number one, as seen in the intro, if you haven't mastered shortcuts, then you're probably failing. Okay, maybe that was too strong of a statement there, but you can tell how strongly I feel about this topic. Let me just say that the speed cap for people who uses shortcuts versus the speed cap for people who uses icons are significantly shorter, where shorter equals faster. For the sake of brevity, I'm going to call the people who uses shortcuts, shortcutters, and for those who click on icons, clickers. Now first of all, there's nothing wrong with being a clicker. I'm a clicker in many programs. For example, Excel, Outlook, Adobe CC Suites, Affinity Suites. For all those programs, I click on icons. Processing my own habits. The reason I click on those icons is because those are the commands that I use so rarely that my mind does not have the repetition to develop the habits nor the muscle memory to use them as shortcuts. In order for our brain to develop the habits and the muscle memory, we have to repeat. And not just repeat in rapid succession like how my mom used to try to pronounce every English word perfectly. You have to repeat it in the context in which you need it. The important part of that is just using it as the need comes up. Your finger just goes there automatically. Even when it comes to Revit, there are certain commands that I am a clicker in. For example, collaboration or collaboration to the cloud, or other commands like creating a new schedule. I don't know these shortcuts by heart, and some of them don't even have shortcuts. In fact, don't tell anyone this. There are things that I do so rarely that I even have to look at my own tutorials to remind myself how to do it. So just as an example, here are some of the commands that you should probably already have down in your muscle memory. Create wall, create door, align, copy, copy to clipboard, paste from clipboard. These are just a few of the handful of shortcuts that you should have down. Yes, you heard correctly. You only need to know a handful of shortcuts. You don't need to memorize hundreds of shortcuts, just the ones that you use every day. Point number two, what I want to address here is the mindset. For those of you who thinks, Tony, I don't have time for that. I'm getting the job done just fine. That's right, it's true. You're getting the job done just fine. And don't let me try to force you to change. Instead, what I want to do is really challenge you to ask yourself why you really don't want to adopt the shortcuts. Please leave a message below and share your thoughts. I'd be happy to read them. Aside from it working just fine, I have a hunch that in the beginning, learning the shortcuts is actually harder than just clicking on the icons. Because for one, you may not even know them. And since you're already looking at the screen, all you have to do is move your mouse over, click on the icon, and then move it back, and you can begin modeling. It's also my hunch that you already tried the shortcuts and you don't like it. Why? Because, well, you would have to take your eyes away from the monitor, look down at your hands because your finger is just not used to the movement. All this breaks your workflow and it's not as easy or as streamlined as moving your mouse over and clicking on the icon, right? All this comes down to in the beginning is that clicking is actually easier than the shortcuts if you're not used to the shortcuts. However, this is just the initial resistance. And I promise that with daily practice, after about a week, this will all feel natural. And once you experience the speed, you probably wouldn't want to go back. This is because the mouse does not have to travel away from the area where you're modeling to click on the icon and then back again. That takes time for your eyes to fixate on where you're supposed to model because it's just shifting focus from one point of the screen to another. Using the shortcut eliminates this unnecessary movement so you don't have to break your concentration. That way your flow is uninterrupted and your flow will be seamless. So mastering a shortcut is like a musician shredding on a guitar. In order for a musician to achieve this, they have to look at the fretboard in the beginning. And the same goes for having to look down at the keyboard at the beginning if you don't know the shortcuts already. Only through spaced repetition and practice, it can help you achieve godlike speed. This requires patience. But more importantly, the key is you must have the desire and the want to master this. And I can't magically give you the desire to do it, but hopefully through this video, you come to understand the importance of shortcuts, and that itself creates a desire in you to want to improve and master these shortcuts. Now, if you found this video to be useful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. What I want to do is I want to challenge you to give this a try for just 1 week. Pick one shortcut that you're wanting to work on and master. For example, let's choose the command wall. Whenever you catch yourself reaching over to click the wall icon with your mouse, I want you to stop and instead move the mouse back and then use the letters WA. There's going to be times where you don't catch yourself, and that's okay. The important thing is you want to actively try to be conscious of it and catch yourself doing it. After about a week, this should feel natural. If it's not natural, then don't move on to another shortcut until you've gotten the shortcut down. In another week, leave your comment below and I'd be happy to see how much you progressed. If you already mastered the shortcut in less than a week, congratulations. You can start adding more to your arsenal of finger commands. Point 3. The speed war between the shortcutters and the clickers is not an overwhelming victory for the shortcutters. Why? Because, well, Revit is not doing us any favors. Some of Revit's default shortcuts can't really be used as shortcuts because the keys are just simply not ergonomic enough. I'm talking about these shortcuts that are a pain to use. For example, the shortcut Align, AL. Yes, I understand that AL stands for the first 2 letters of the word align, but it's not doing our fingers any favors. Look how far I gotta stretch. And I would have to look down on my keyboard all the time because I just can't get my fingers to accurately press A with my pinky and then L with my index finger. It's too much. I just can't get used to it. And I'm trying here, guys. You don't want to take the right hand off of the mouse. That's another key to speed. Your right hand is always on the mouse. Sorry, lefty people, I don't have advice for you. Why don't you leave a comment in the description on how you resolve your shortcut issues since your right hand is on the keyboard and your left hand is on the mouse. My accuracy is about 50%. And even when I do get it accurate, when I shift my hand back to the starting position, I'm in the wrong position and my next command would be off. It's horrible. But you know what? I did master it. And if you guess repeat, wrong. But Tony, wasn't the last 2 points just about repeat? Yes, I repeated and I repeated and I gave up. I couldn't build the muscle memory fast enough or accurate enough to get it down. That shift in the hand just messes up everything. In order for a shortcut to be effective, the hand has to be in the same position. So what do, Tony? Did you become a clicker for this command? Nope. When the shortcut is too hard, you change the shortcut. So I changed the align shortcut from AL to AA. I know, right? Mind-blowing. A few of you may already know this, but for those of you who don't, you could bring up the keyboard shortcut changer window with the shortcut KS for keyboard shortcuts, I guess. Now, before you add or change a shortcut, you must first make sure that the shortcut you want to use is not already taken. For example, with the command align, it's already been taken by analyze something. I don't know what it is. I never use it. So what I do is I first remove the AA shortcut from that command, and then I go to align and then add the AA to align. Now, over the years, I've gone through and modified a lot of the default Revit commands to make it simpler for me. Some of the commands that I use all the time, like copy or align or trim or those kind of things, I made the shortcuts repetitive. For example, copy, instead of CO, it's CC. Another one is move, MM, not MV. I've shared some of these shortcuts with some of my colleagues at work, and the shortcutters embraced it and can't go back to the regular Revit default shortcuts. And for the clickers, well, they're still clicking. I mean, they don't use shortcuts, right? Let me know in the comments below if you want me to share some of my modified shortcuts with you guys. If I get enough requests, I'll make another video explaining each one of those shortcuts, as well as sharing my XML so that you can just import those directly to your current workflow. You know, this video was supposed to be on 5 foundational items for Revit, but I ended up doing the whole video on shortcuts. And you know what? That is how strongly I feel about this topic, and it is my #1 foundational item for anyone to get faster and better in Revit. Not just for Revit, but in other softwares as well. So I hope you were able to learn something that would help you become a better architect today. And for some of you who have clicker friends and who are not yet shortcutters, feel free to send them this video to help them out. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end, and see you in the next video. Some of Revit's default shortcuts are simply not ergonomic enough. Ergonomic. Why is it so hard to say the word ergonomic these days?